right. It is the Illini Basketball Podcast, episode 141, January 23rd, 2023, I think.
I believe that is correct. Good job.
A real, I don't think that game went well game. I don't think my brain is working correctly right now.
Awful.
Illinois got slaughtered would be like
awful game.
Yeah.
Jeremy's here. What's going on, Jeremy? Lunkers is here. Lunkers, what's up? Indiana comes into Illinois and absolutely wrecks them. Excuses was a lot of what the post game was. I don't know. I don't know if it's, letting TJD get 35. According to Brad, it's not. So that doesn't matter. Guys on 19 days in a row, fatigued. The guy that's been the most dominant, Matthew Meyer, is sick. A lot of excuses that you could come up here with. Lunkers called it. He said that Illinois is going to get smoked, apparently. Bergie, what's going on? How you doing? But as we always do, we'll go ahead with our players of the game. We'll switch up for you guys. Ethan did not pick the guy that scored the most points because it wasn't Matthew Meyer. So
no, I'll give him my reason.
I picked TJ Shannon, as we're calling him these days. 37 minutes, 8 for 18. He was 4 of 7 from 3. Nice to see him get a stroke back from the 3-point line. 6 of 10 from the free throw line, however. 26 points, 1 rebound, which not good. 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, and 4 turnovers. I believe that was a team high on turnovers. As a team, Illinois only had 9, so Terrence Shannon had almost half of them. But it seemed like Illinois was back to their old ways with this offense. A lot of ISO ball, a lot of not moving. And then their defense was just really bad against TJD. So I just went with the guy that actually showed up. And, of course, you went with RJ.
He showed up.
Yes, I was going to say when I was going through the stat line, he's the only other guy that probably had a chance to sniff player of the game. And I'm glad that you changed it up. I'm glad that you didn't just go with Matthew Meyer, even though – he did have 0 points. So.
It's not his fault, obviously. 3 players on the Illini had an offensive rating over 100 on KenPom in the box score. Shannon 107, Sincere 113, and RJ 132. So RJ at his first play of the game, I don't even remember what it was, but he did something to where I said I didn't even know he was playing, and then he turned it on.
Yeah.
But 2 for 3 from 3, you take that all day. 22 minutes, so, right about where he's been, I think, recently. 4 for 8 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3. Missed free throw, which, who didn't in this game for Illinois?
Everybody.
Probably their worst performance in the history of the program from the free throw line, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
10 points, 4 rebounds, and a steal. I think RJ played pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah.
I think the reason I didn't really go with Shannon is because the one moment that I remember most from this game on the Illini side in the second half is probably when he made the big 3 to get it down to 10 or 12, and then just the hero ball hunting for a foul in the next possession just completely ended the game.
Yeah.
And I know that he played pretty well overall, but that did it for me. I was out on that.
Yeah, and RJ had a pretty good run there towards the end of the half. Got it within 10 for Illinois.
Yep.
When, they really just didn't have anything going. And a big part of that was the defense on Terrence Shannon Jr. Lunker said that TJD was going to dominate Illinois, so that's what he was correct on. I have a memory like a goldfish, so sorry I don't remember it. Jeremy says, with like 10 minutes left, you see TJD look at his teammates and say, oh, I could have 40. Yeah, easily.
They made things pretty easy for TJJ, for sure.
Yeah, TJJ is definitely good.
Yep.
So, Coleman Hawkins, 38 minutes. 38.
Didn't notice that at all.
Yeah. 3 for 8 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 2 for 4 from the free throw line, 9 points, 5 rebounds, and assist.
You could have told me that he played 8 minutes, and I would have been like, "That's about right." Yeah.
Turnovers. Yeah, he again had one of those stupid cross court passes that tried to fit what do they say, a snowball through a pee hole or
I
something.
think sometimes people need to understand that the player's POV is different from what we're seeing on TV. It makes it look so much worse, but also it doesn't make those passes not bad. It's just like it's a different angle. We got to think about this here. Like Coleman can't see what we can see, which is the defender like almost already in the passing lane before he even throws it. But either way, it's a bad pass. I'm just saying. I feel like people approach those passes like
Wow, okay,
like he
defending
should be
Coleman,
able to.
all right,
I'm
okay.
just saying, it's still a
Okay.
bad pass, and there's still dumb passes. But also, I feel like from a viewer perspective on TV, you look at that pass, especially from the angle you have when it's when the Illinois is on the right side of the court from where the TV is.
Yeah.
Offensively, it just looks so much worse than it would look for him.
Yeah.
Still a bad pass. Still a bad decision.
I guess the thing that disappointed me the most was his defense. Of course, Brad defended his defense like he always does. But Brad talked about not caring about TJD's 35, and we'll get into that with the post-game stuff. But he said what bothered him was Geronimo's 13 when he averages 5. And I went back and watched the highlights. He scored 9 of those on Coleman Hawkins because when Dane was in, he was guarding TJD, and Coleman was on Geronimo, and that's who Geronimo got all his points off of. So okay, Brad. He was stuck on Hood Shafino one time, got burnt like a
that's a
brisket.
bad matchup anyway.
Yeah, it is. And then in the post game, Brad was asked about Coleman not having any fouls and asked if he would like him to be more aggressive. And Brad said, fouling is a defensive mistake. Those guys are really smart and usually in the right position. Guys like Trace are really hard to guard. The NBA has a 5-second back-in rule. We don't have that in college. You can take a guy with a ball and back him in for 20 seconds, and you can't defend it because you can't touch him. I don't know how you guard that. I asked the officials tonight how you guard that. And when I went back and watched the tape, I could see the one like Dane got backed in by TJD and just bumping the crap out of him. And TJD, who literally went 20 for 20 this game, you could see that had to be the point when Underwood went and asked, how are we supposed to guard that? That's Brad sounded dumb. Brad said everyone was tired and hadn't had a day off. Isn't his job to work resting? Yeah. TJ killed us, period. Yeah. The fact that, he started 12 for 12 or whatever he was, into the game, 15 of 19. There was a lot of questions about they should have doubled him and, this stuff. He tried to double him one time with Epps. I think that's the only time I saw them try to double him. And Epps left Miller Kopp, and Miller Kopp made a 3. So I think that you have to find a way to have somebody else beat you. I said Trace Jackson Davis needed under 20 points. If he gets under 20 points, Illinois wins this game. If Illinois makes some GD free throws, 9 of 23 from the line. And then Illinois also missed 13 bunnies. You're not going to win games doing that. And Underwood was asked about the free throws. He said, quote, "It was mental fatigue. We practiced them every day."
Okay.
So.
If you look at the free throws, Shannon 6 for 10. That's not good enough. Coleman 2 for 4. That's about expected. Danger 1 for 4. So he kind of regressed from what he'd been doing a couple games before.
Mm-hmm.
Sincere 0 for 2. That's about right. RJ 0 for 1. I don't know. And then God's gift to basketball, Zachary Perrin 0 for 2. So
we did get some Zachary Perrin time.
Yeah, that was great. I was so excited.
Lunger said they didn't beat us on threes. They posted posted us up and destroyed us. Yeah, they were 3 of 9 from 3.
Yeah.
I think that eventually you have to find a way to let them beat you. I know that Bates yesterday
5 for
what,
6.
was unbelievable from 3. But at least have somebody else try to beat you. Trace Jackson Davis is very good at finding open cutters, and that seemed to be where he got most of his assists. He had 5 assists. It seemed like it was guys cutting into the hole and Illinois just being out of sorts. Is the 3-second lane rule still around? Yes, it is. But if you have a foot out, it doesn't count. And TJD gets the ball outside the lane almost every time, it seems like. MJ, what's going on? He says, my take is not going to overreact to the combination of 1, TJD having a near perfect game, 2, missed easy layups that hurt early, 3, role players stepped up with assists of somewhat poor defense. It's a very good take.
It was a bounces game. I mean, Illinois is not going to miss as many good looks as they had, and TJD's not going to go near perfect every game. And Indiana kind of played over their heads overall. I think they
did. They shot 61% from the field.
Probably their best game of the season. So
Jeremy, I saw this on this. I hate that shot tracker thing that says, Illinois wins 87% of the time with the shots compared. It says that Trace Jackson Davis should have scored 8 less points. Illinois should have scored 18 more. I don't know. I mean, shots don't fall sometimes. I'm not completely mad about this game. Just the fact that
it's also been 4 days.
You give Trace Jackson Davis 35 points just handed to him drives me nuts. Yesterday he didn't seem like he could make anything. So, Lunker says we're horrible free throw shooting team so far. Can't win games like that. You can't win games going 9-23.
Would you be interested to hear the the free throw percentage ranking for Illinois under Brad Underwood each season?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Year 1, 104th. Year 2, 188th. Year 3, 117th. Year 4, which was the 1 seed year, 236th. AKA Kofi. Hello.
That'd be a lot of Kofi, yeah.
Last season, 209th. And get ready for it, folks. 329th this season. Out of 363.
Ugh.
So there's only 44 teams in the country. Nope, that's not the right math. There's only 34 teams in the country that are worse at free throw shooting percentage than the Illini. I think the big difference this year is Shannon has not been as reliable at the line in some games as opposed to others. Okay.
Yeah, him going 1 of 1 every time he went to the line against Indiana was killer. Like anytime you thought Illinois had something going.
You have right now 2 guys that are 80%. That feels like a problem. Epps is 81, RJ's 80. Coleman's 63, which is horrific.
Brutal.
Danger
shooter though.
Danger 49, which is just Jesus. What are you, Shaq, without the talent? Myers 77, which I think that should be better. And that's right, folks. I can criticize him. Shannon 76 should be better. Sky Clark was 70, which only shot 23, so I don't really know how to approach that. I mean, Epps is only taking 21. And then Sincere is 20%, 3 for 15.
Yeah.
And Ty Rogers is 31%, 5 for 16. The fact that Ty Rogers is taking more free throws than Harris and almost as many as Epps is very surprising. I have to say.
That is.
Brandon Lieb, 20%. By
I think
the way.
Epps controls his body so well that he never gets a foul called on him.
Probably. He's an angles guy.
Jay's here. What's going on, Jay? Crypto, thanks for stopping by. Brandon says, wow, makes you think they don't focus on free throws at all. Underwood said mental fatigue. They practice them every day, guys.
I also think that they mostly have just bad free throw shooters.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jay says free throw misses, no change of defensive plan versus Davis, and missing easy buckets explains the held Indiana.
I think what held them
wrap up of
what held them back from being, like in the top 230 last season or whatever they were, was Alfonso Plummer was automatic. Frazier was good. I feel like DeMonte wasn't a bad free throw shooter, and then the Kofi at the line. As much as it looked different a little like 2 weeks ago, like he's better than Danger's a horrific free throw shooter, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
like it makes sense that he would be bad, but this bad, 49%. I mean,
Brandon says, "Who the hell would we choose to shoot a tech?" Well, they chose Terrence Shannon, and he went 1 of 2.
Well,
So,
if Epps is on the floor, I would choose him.
yeah.
Or Connor Servin, huh? 1 for 2.
Or I think
bad.
when RJ's on the court, he chooses RJ. I think RJ missed his last technical shots.
RJ's down to 80%. He was like 93. Hasn't taken very many though. What was Luke Goody last season? I'm going to look that up.
Yeah. You look that up. I'll go on to the next guy. Dane Danger, 31 minutes, 4 of 8 from the field, 1 of 4 from the line, 9 points, 8 rebounds. Good to see. 3 steals, 1 block, 1 turnover. I thought that Dane was really good in the first half offensively, and then he just kind of disappeared in the second half. And his defense against Trace Jackson Davis. I told you I'd be doing it all. I told you this was coming.
DeMonte was 53% at the line, by the way, last season, so I was wrong. But my earlier point, RJ 85%, Grandison 82%, Frazier 83, Plummer 87. That's 4 guys right there. And also Kofi 65. That's not that bad compared to what we see with Danger. Goody was 4 for 6, so not bad. And Podge, everybody's favorite, Podge was 3 for 4. Not bad. Omar Payne.
Baby.
Even Omar Payne was 4% better than Danger. I know it's less attempts, but good God. And I'm very surprised that Danger's defense wasn't a little bit better on TJJ.
Yeah, TJJ is just he's different, you know.
I know, but it makes me worried that Edey might have 70 and Dickinson might have 60.
You know, that's my worry too, but those guys are more post guys.
TJJ's faster. Yeah.
Are we gonna do this the whole time?
Yeah, we're gonna
okay.
do it. Yeah.
All right. But like, so the one where he was outside the 3 and Dane comes up and the guy's left-handed and he just lets him go straight by him with his left. I don't know why Dane.
The scouting issue right there.
I don't know why. Well, they only had 2 days. Indiana had
that. 5. That is a little bit of BS, but it is also life in the Big Ten. What do you expect?
Edey might have 30. Edey will have 30.
I don't think they
and Brandon Lieb will foul out of the game.
Will they attack? They didn't seem to attack Maryland as much as they attacked Michigan State, Purdue. That is,
Yeah.
Like if this is a game where Painter's not giving the ball to Edey at will, then I don't think he will have 30. But the thing is, how much do they fear Danger under there? Which I wouldn't fear him at all if I were them. But especially just the mismatch there. But I think Dane.
I mean, the good thing is it's the last game of the season.
Yeah.
If you win it, it helps you immensely. If you lose it, it doesn't hurt you.
Dane Danger is also
8-11 at that point.
Yeah, which it probably will be because his team's dead. Dane Danger against a slower big is probably a better matchup anyway. So
yeah,
I would have been very interested to see when Illinois played UCLA if Adim Bona, the freshman who's really coming along now, if he was where he's at now, if he was where he was in November, Illinois would have definitely lost that game, I think. But that doesn't matter at all. I'm just saying it would have been nice to see Danger go against that type of big. Because he really he hasn't faced any of the offensive dominant bigs this entire season until this one with TJJ, which I mean, Julian Reese is not that.
I just with the times where somebody stuck a hand in, he fumbled the ball. I would have liked to see more of that than rather just straight up post up. Because that he's going to get around you. I mean, how many times did you get around Dane? Just easy to the basket.
Yeah.
Brandon says the one thing they kept doing against him was giving him his dominant shoulder and not defending the spin. Yeah. It's so easy to guard, but they just weren't making the adjustments. Yeah, they did. And the one with Coleman, he stopped him going right so he could go left. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Played this guy for 4 years. Underwood has at least.
Lunker says then against Michigan State he wasn't that good, but their 3-point shooters were on. Yeah, I mean
he was pretty good against Michigan State.
Yeah, I think he had 25, 30.
I mean he had 66 points in these 2 games,
but his shooting wasn't as good.
50%. Yeah,
I would have loved him to score 30 and go 50% from the field.
31, 15, and 5.
That makes a difference.
31, 15, 4, and 5.
Zach says Coleman is the most wasted space I've ever seen. Whoa. Is that your burner account?
No, I wouldn't go that
Walker
far.
says Indiana is just getting hot and more healthy. Yeah. Race Thompson was obsolete yesterday, though.
It was just coming back. Yeah, he
I
only
know,
played 4
but you
minutes.
say, like, oh, they're missing 2 starters. Like, I
They
don't think
wouldn't
Race
have. They
Thompson
wouldn't have
did
played that inspired
this.
and that hard without these losses or with those
Yeah.
2 guys in the lineup. I don't think, but that's just basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, TJJ had 31, 15, 4, and 5 yesterday, so you can't say that he wasn't that good yesterday.
What was he from the field, though?
Yeah, 50%, but also that's
But
like
I'm just saying. I mean,
coming off
those
of
are
that
rebounds.
game.
Illinois out rebounded on the offensive end, 14-9. I know they got dominated on the other end, and that was a lot to do with Miss Bunnies, but still.
But Michigan State
misses
obviously
help.
Michigan State obviously approached that game differently given what TJJ did against Illinois in the game before.
Yeah.
So I don't think they would have paid that much attention to him without the 36 and barely missing a shot. And one thing that impresses me about him is like he can't shoot, but he's a good free throw shooter.
Yeah.
Very surprising. 11 for 13 yesterday, 5 for 6 against Illinois. So yeah, he's 3 games in a row where he's pretty much been the dominant factor on the floor for Indiana. Maybe players only meetings work. I don't know.
Well, and I think he's just got some like swagger back to him right now. He always looks like a D-bag on the court, but
jeez, relax. He seems like a nice. He seems like a nice kid.
Okay, buddy.
He seems like a nice kid.
Like a great guy. Matthew Meyer, 22 minutes, 0 for 4, 0 for 1 from 3, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover. Brad said he was fighting an illness. He said, quote, it didn't matter. It didn't matter, guys. It didn't matter tonight, guys. I'm just telling you, it was an off night mentally, and we're fatigued physically, and Matt was sick.
Yeah. I don't think they got the ball to him early enough. Like they weren't even trying to get the ball to him early. And I'd like to see him get a couple early shots up, but it's not an excuse.
I'd like to see him if he's sick, just don't play. Thank you.
I think Brad probably had that in the back pocket just in case he didn't do anything and they lost.
Well, I mean, they asked him and he said he was ready to go, so he went. Zach says, what happened to the defensive scheme that allowed us to double hedge and still contest shots because of this team's athleticism? BU doesn't trust the guys to scramble effectively. I mean, I think that the switching defense showed you that Illinois can't scramble effectively. I don't like the way that Dane hedges. I know that they talk great about his drop defense. What's it called? I don't know. But I think that he's terrible at coming out on guys. Sincere Harris, 17 minutes, 4 of 7, 0 for 2 from the line, 8 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal. He's finding ways to get to the basket now. I thought he was really good in bursts in this game. His defense was still there as it usually is. But I think a effective Sincere that can get to the basket is going to help this team more. The problem was that Matthew Meyer, of course, wasn't feeling well. And then Jaden Epps, 22 minutes, 1 of 8 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 3 points, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 0 turnovers.
0 turnovers.
Off night for Epps.
Yeah, so. Everybody. He's a freshman. I mean, it happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could have used a couple of those threes. Certainly had some good looks to kind of keep Illinois in the game or get them back into it. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of bounces that just didn't go Illinois' way.
You're absolutely right, and that's one of the things. Like the 50-50 balls didn't go Illinois' way at all this game. And I think that's part of how hard you're playing and how aggressive you are. Things like that factor in. But it just seemed like they couldn't get a ball to bounce their way, and Indiana could not miss. So Sincere is Trent Frazier without much of offense. What do you think of that?
No.
I mean, he is.
No.
Yes. Jeremy, seems like the team might be lacking the mental toughness to run the plays when you're dead tired and shots are not falling. I hope I'm wrong, but they are 18 to 24-year-olds. I think that's a good point. The fact that, the spread offense is to make you move, and if you're not moving with a purpose or hard, the spread offense is it's not effective. And it kind of looked like it in this game where there was a lot of ISO ball. So, do you miss Kofi yet? I miss Kofi. Would dominate everyone. You can tell that TJD attacked the post without Kofi there. Yeah, you think the one guy that was happy that Kofi left was probably Trace Jackson Davis. Do you miss Kofi? I've seen a lot of. We even got comments like, "Oh, what about Kofi?" And it's like, I never said that I wanted Kofi to leave. I have friends that wanted Kofi to leave.
I miss Kofi. Yeah, I'll say it right now. TJJ wouldn't be doing that against
TJJ.
Kofi.
Had 6.6 rebounds in their last meeting.
And it's not even like Kofi being a good defender because he really wasn't. It was just the size, the presence.
Yep.
Yeah. And Kofi wanted
Kofi didn't, and I don't know why Dane felt like he had to come out on him all the time. Like, I'll take him taking 15, 17 footers.
Maybe the scouting report said blank from the free throw line, like a good percentage, then he thought that meant field goal, or he read it wrong.
Yeah.
He thought, he can shoot from the field and from three.
I only had 2 days, guys. Ty Rodgers, 9 minutes, 0 for 1, 1 rebound, 1 assist. For a guy that can guard everybody, TJJ dominated him.
No one should expect him to be able to guard TJJ.
No, but Brad does.
Not him. No, he can guard every position 1 through 4. If Brad stretches to 5, then he's lost. Yeah. I don't even think he could guard Zed Key, who's coming in tomorrow. I don't even think he could guard him.
Well, we're gonna find out.
Probably not. He's probably gonna play 3 minutes tomorrow, just because Brad's like, yeah, I think we've seen enough from this kid.
Wes, thanks for joining. He said, just joining. Sorry if it's been talked about, but seeing the turnover difference and still getting beat that bad sucks. Yeah. Illinois got 11 steals, forced 17 turnovers. We're going to talk about that here in a minute in the other notes and quotes like we do. But yeah, you look at these numbers besides rebounding and
31 for 46 from 2. Indiana, 31 for 46.
Yeah. 3 of 9 from 3. Like, I don't know. I
didn't need to shoot threes.
No, because all you had to do was give it to TJJ.
And he's scoring easily.
Indiana, I mentioned earlier, dominated the boards 39-27. Illinois did pull down 14 offensive. They actually had more offensive rebounds than defensive rebounds. But I guess when the other team doesn't miss, not a lot of balls to rebound, right?
Yep.
I thought that Brad's technical was super untimely. I know that Illinois got it back within 12 after that, but
he also didn't even do anything.
To give them, it was very
gave him
quick.
Official from 60 feet.
Yeah.
Weak
Officials
as hell.
Soft, right?
These guys sucked.
Yeah, so but I thought at that point it seemed like Illinois was getting some momentum, and instead of the technical getting them more momentum, they just kind of disappeared. So, Indiana shot a season high 61.8% from the field, 30 first half points in the paint, 52 total. Brad said in the post game, quote, "You got to give up something. Do you want to give up threes or do you want to give up twos? Same defense we played last year. We didn't give up threes. What we didn't have was 19 straight days. They were great. They whooped our butt in every category. 19 straight days is going to come up a lot here, fellas. But we'll talk.
Can't he give them a day off?
Yes.
But what the hell are we doing?
But Brad Sturdy, who I know you're a big fan of,
absolutely,
he posted about the schedule and what Brad was talking about. And so they had 6 straight games where they had 2 days to prepare. So it's hard to give guys, time off when you have to practice and then you have to scout and run a scout team. So it's hard to get days off.
I'm gonna blame the Big Ten. It's on the Big Ten.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeremy, we do miss Luke's defense, but the best solo defender. We do miss Luke's defense, not the best solo defender, but his team defense is excellent. Trying to temper my expectations, but we need that and his shooting.
He's gonna come back and average 30, so don't temper the expectations.
30
points.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It definitely sounds like an excuse on the surface from Brad, no doubt, and it kind of is. But in other ways, I think he should have said we didn't allow threes, but we also blah blah blah. And I think he should have said we didn't have a 7-footer, 280 pounds
to
in the
stop
paint
TJ.
to stop TJJ. And also, let's think about this here for a sec, folks. Miller Kopp sucks at basketball. So I think that's a point that I want to get across here because I forgot what I was actually going to say, so I just went straight to that.
Okay.
Yeah, so Miller Kopp sucks. Loser.
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
That's fine.
3 steals, though, so I guess he was there. He could say that he played.
Wes says, also Brad
That's what I was
saying
going to say.
TJD didn't beat them as well.
I think there's the way that he said it, I don't agree with. I think there's an extent there. Like if you allow 25 and you limit Hood Schifino and the others, then yes, I understand wanting to do that. But you can't really say that when a guy has 35 or whatever TJJ
Yeah, if he had 22, I guess you could say that, but 35 seems so here's some other ones from Brad's post game. He said, quote, they looked like they had 5 days off to prepare for us, and we look like a team that had 19 straight days without a day off. You can't miss 14 free throws. You can't miss 13 layups and be a good team, especially against one of the best players in the country, arguably.
I mean, he's the 3rd best player in his own conference this season, so
he's playing like one of the best.
Hasn't even been All-American yet until this year when they give him one from pity.
Then he was asked about, getting the guys time off and stuff like that. He said, quote, now the NCAA makes you take 2 days off because you go so many in a row. We can't touch a basketball. We can't be in a gym. We can't be with our guys for 2 straight days. This year's calendar is all messed up with the shorter calendar. So we have games crammed in there. 19 days in a row is a lot. Again, not making excuses, just reiterating myself 72 times.
Not making excuses, but also making excuses to your face while saying that I'm not making excuses.
Yeah. And I get it. I mean, it kind of looked like they were, off, but Indiana was just on. So to each their own, I guess. Underwood on the 35 points. Quote, I'm not worried about his 35. I'm worried about Geronimo's 13 when he's averaging 5. Dane guarded him pretty good for about 3 possessions. Then we just laid behind. So, again, Geronimo scored 9 of those in the first half on Coleman Hawkins, who played 38 minutes. So, okay, Brad. Yeah. And then he added to this because he was asked about it again because even the media guys were like, what are you talking about? He had 35 points. He said, quote, his 35 didn't beat us. He wasn't beating us by himself. You add in 5 assists. Those are what hurt you. His touches were way too easy. It's very, very hard to score enough 2s to beat you in the college game. Our problems were on the offensive side because if we make a few more free throws and some layups, 35 is not going to outdo you, and nobody else was really involved. But he just said that Geronimo's 13 was the reason they lost. So nobody else was really involved. Jeremy says, everyone always says, don't let the best player beat you. But if Michael Jordan hits the game winner, then I can accept it. But if John effing Paxson beats you, you never forget it. Brandon says, I can live with TJD's 35, but you can't let Schifino and Geronimo have over 10 then. That's fair.
I thought it was TJJ.
TJJ. But yeah, but still 35. And it's not the 35. It's the 35 going 15 of 19. You take 35 if he goes 15 of 30.
I don't know about that.
Yes, you do, because that's more misses. That's more opportunities for you to have the ball.
I would say 15 of 33 is my
Crypto
acceptable
says,
range.
dudes, I'm getting depressed. Get to the part where you deal out the hopium. Better days ahead, etc. First, Ethan has to shit on the Orange Crush, and then we'll get to that. So, two more things from Brad on the lack of offensive sharing this game. He said their defense and our lack of mental want to. We knew they were going to pressure us, and the spread is unbelievable against pressure. We didn't fight very hard. We looked like a team that was not in the gym tonight, and that's on me. And then he was asked about how he fixed the schedule. He said the season should start on November 1st, build in an extra week so we can play league games earlier, but that's way above my pay grade.
I agree with him. No doubt.
Onto the Orange Crush suck, and then we'll get on to the hopium where Ethan says that Illinois fumbles against Ohio State, if that will make you guys feel better.
Good teaser. Okay. The Orange Crush is an absolute shell of what it once was, okay? You look back on that fateful December night. It might have been November. It was probably November. Wake Forest, Illinois, 2004. And you could just tell. You watch that on YouTube right now.
Because I know you didn't see it live.
Well, it's not my fault. You look back at that game right there. It's just different. I think one factor is the layout of the SFC absolutely blows in comparison to the Assembly Hall. I think that makes it look so much different because, it just looks on TV, especially.
I think that the building of the suites and then the other ones, it moves the main crowd, the diehard fans way up high, while the guys drinking beer and eating food don't really care about the game.
It's the layout sucks, but also I think the student section sucks. Like these guys,
it was the first game back. They were fatigued from Christmas break.
Don't care.
Mental and physical fatigue. Ask Brad.
Here's where this all came about. Number one, I don't think it's being talked about enough on the internet in Illini circles. Can we not talk about how our student section literally sucks now? I think we need to discuss that. And I think one of the most important parts of a student section is the layout around the floor, which Illinois does not have anymore. It sucks. It looks terrible on TV. It looks terrible in every way. Number two, I got to see all these nerds and losers with their arms crossed and silent when it's 9-4 Indiana. Are you shitting me? 9-4, and they've pretty much given up, and they're all like this, looking around at each other. Oh, it's 9-4. What the heck? I mean, what is that? What is that? Complete. Everybody in the crowd in the Orange Crush died when it was 9-4. Ridiculous. Number three, their chants absolutely suck. No intelligence, no thought, no real. I mean, you talk about TV shows that are really well written. You can tell, like The Sopranos. There you go, 3 in a row. How are you? But the writing of their chants or whatever you want to call it, which I know everybody does this, but they suck. And it's unfortunate that the cheat sheet got leaked out because it makes you look even dumber than I already think you are.
They make that for every game.
I know, but I'm saying it sucked.
It gets leaked every year.
Okay, but it was a big story this time because of how bad and stupid they were. Oh, Miller Kopp, you are not smart enough to be at Northwestern.
Hey, can
break? Stupid.
Indiana fans please go at the Big Ten Network for calling this a rivalry 67 times?
It's because Bardo's I remember playing in this. Brandon. I mean, give me a break.
Okay, so Bardo thinks it's a rivalry.
Obviously, he does. Which they want to play that up. Who gives a damn about that? That didn't look like a rivalry game to me. That looked like a game between a team that was playing in front of their dead student section.
Wes says was at the game, and yes, they got quiet even when it was something.
They were all standing this.
I talked about this at the Michigan State game.
They suck.
There was only a small section of Orange Crush, but that is Illinois fans. There was 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, and Michigan State makes a basket, and everybody just sits down. That's just Illinois fans.
Orange Crush sucks.
They don't know how to consistently cheer because they'd rather sit down or drink their beers in the suites.
And they wonder why we'll never achieve athletic greatness.
All right. We got some comments as you went after the Orange Crush.
Bunch of losers.
Hopefully they
Orange
come
Crush.
after us because
Good.
that'll be fun. Zach
Morons.
says this team will continue to get exposed on the interior if they don't find some toughness. May not see another legitimate test until Rutgers.
I just don't agree with that at all. It's one game, and also Illinois has been pretty good all year. Especially Dange's defense is much clearly better and more versatile than Kofi's.
I think Dange is way better against a true big. Like TJJ is like
Thank you.
Coleman Hawkins, but can actually play the interior.
Yeah.
And he might have better handles, which is
I think he does everything better, but whatever.
Lunker says, Brandon, you're wrong. Your take on Sincere being like Frazier is nuts. Frazier is a shooter and hit a ton of threes.
That's something.
He can play defense. Frazier is an Illini legend.
That's something that I was going to bring
for
up.
his offense.
That's something that I was going to bring up. It's like we need to stop comparing freshmen to, but it's like especially like who you're comparing. Like if we're comparing somebody to Io, it's just not like Io and Kofi and I don't. Trent's not in the same stratosphere as them in terms of actual like accolades and playing, but like if you're going to compare like as a like everybody just thinks that they're just the same player. I don't understand that. You can compare certain aspects of the game and the fact they both wore number 1 and wear a headband. I mean, that's Do
you think by the time he's a senior, you'll think that he's more like Trent Frazier?
If he knows how to shoot by then maybe.
Okay. Lunker says, I don't know much about Harris. He's mid at best, in my opinion.
What do you have?
Good defense, but he's so horrible on offense. It doesn't matter. Guys, Sincere went 4 of 7 this game for 8 points.
He's mid, dude.
Like, he's literally the only guy that cuts hard to the basket, and the only guy that gets can get deep in the basket. Where Epps is more of a get away from the basket, he actually goes in. Like, I know that his shooting's not good, but I think that he's going to be.
He warps people with the free throw shooting. It's so bad that you just think this guy can't shoot at all. But from 3, I mean, he's shooting 34%, which is not that bad considering. I mean, he's shooting worse from the line than anywhere else.
Zach says we show up better at neutral sites. We show up, but then Illinois fans yell at other Illinois fans for standing up during the game. So I was in Vegas. It was miserable.
The Orange Crush sucks. The fan base sucks.
They're all old, crotchy guys looking at newspaper clippings.
Yeah, exactly. Number 3. Let me get to number 4 of the Orange Crush. The shirts suck. The normal shirts that they wear, those suck. I think that one thing that we need to think about with this is like being loud and being into the game. I feel like it's something that should happen at all times during the game. Like, why the hell else are you there?
I agree.
Like, unless you're down 30, then I just don't get like 9 to 4 and you're crossing your arms. It's ridiculous.
You're comparing a 5th-year senior to a freshman, though.
It's not fair. And a 5th-year senior who completely sucked or played when it completely sucked to be there.
Yeah.
Stuck with it. Got to the tournament twice. Won 2 tournament games. I mean, come on, please. But anyway, yeah. They're also not even spelling. They're not even spelling Sincere's first name right. I mean, we got to get that right. It's spelled Sincere. Well, Sincere is his name, folks. But yeah, my overall point is that the Orange Crush sucks. And the reason that I tweeted, by the way, I did change the Twitter bio. I put that I'm the one who I put tweets by me just to, make sure that doesn't besmirch your name. Since you're very famous on Twitter. But also the reason I tweeted that I think the Orange Crush, should be in the worst. They should be in the worst student sections on that list. The reason I put that is to try to draw attention to the fact that people need to realize that the Orange Crush sucks. There's no advantage at all with these little dweeb losers, okay? I mean, that's just where I'm at on this. And I hope that they prove me wrong and they get better and they start to actually, be loud, be into the game and have cheers or whatever the cheat sheet BS is for slights at players, maybe a little bit better written, maybe get a real writer, let's say a Steve Buscemi, not much of a writer, more of a director actor, but somebody, in that realm of the cheat sheet student section game, maybe the best one that Illinois got, you find somebody that can, write more clever things. Like that cheat sheet, it was leaked, obviously, and people paid attention to it because of how shitty it was. It was terrible. Right. One of the worst written things I've ever seen in my entire life. And the whole Steve Harvey thing, that's overplayed. Who gives a damn about that? It's terrible.
Hey,
and by the way, that's 3 episodes in a row where I've gotten a Sopranos reference in this podcast.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Name another Illini podcast that does that.
And you got one in the mid-season college.
That's 4. Yeah, I'm on a heater right now.
I just want to throw this out here. Trent Frazier's freshman year compared to Sincere Harris 19 games in. Ready? Trent played 26 minutes. Sincere's averaging about 15. Trent shot 40% from the field. Sincere shooting 41.8%. Trent was 34% from 3. Sincere is 34.5% from 3. And we're not going to get into the free throws. So
okay, now you're just painting the picture.
I mean, 20% free throws, okay? But he's only shot like 6 of them.
Trent played more because he was on a bad team.
Yes.
Most of the people comparing this didn't watch Trent his freshman year because they didn't care about the program at all. Also, Sincere's like his highs and lows.
Just check the stats, Lunkers. Look at it. Hit the like button, Illinois fans. Lunkers.
His lows on offense are worse than anybody. That's why people like just throwing it off the backboard or terrible free throw shooting or missing threes by a mile. His lows on offense are much, much lower than Trent's ever were. And Trent was also a much bigger focal point of their offense in his freshman year because the team sucked. So how many games they win that year? 14 and 18 or something? Wasn't good. Because then they set the record like a year or 2 later.
I don't know.
A terrific record, I must say. Brad's got that going for him. Brad's probably going to end up with like the best record in the history of the program and the worst. 14 and 18, year 1, 12 and 21. It's only gone up in the Big Ten, though. They went to 4 Big Ten wins, 7 Big Ten wins, 13, 16, 15. Now they're at 4. So probably another 4 and 16 year coming this time. So they're about to lose 12 in a row. Anyway, the Orange Crush sucks. All right, Illinois, Ohio State. This game goes down tomorrow, 6 o'clock Central on ESPN. Illinois' first ESPN game since Syracuse, I think, or Texas. Texas was after Syracuse, right? So since Texas. This will be their 5th one of the season, I believe, because they had UCLA and Virginia and Texas and Syracuse. So this is the 5th ESPN game of the season for Illinois. Not that it matters. I don't even know who's calling the game. Hopefully it's not some bum. Hopefully it's Hummel. That would be ideal. Even though if we're doing a watch party, we won't be able to hear the announcers as well.
Won't matter.
It's been a very odd and inconsistent season for Ohio State. I will say they started 2-0 in the Big Ten, won a couple games in Maui against teams that were certainly thought of as better teams in Maui, Cincinnati and Texas Tech. People thought maybe they'd be, or San Diego State and Texas Tech. Or was it Cincinnati and Texas Tech? I think they beat – didn't they beat Texas Tech? I swear. Let me see here. Yeah, they lost to San Diego State, beat Cincinnati and Texas Tech. So they went 2-1 in Maui. San Diego State's good, but Texas Tech is terrible, and Cincinnati's not that good. They bounced back, though, after losing 5 straight in the Big Ten. They beat Iowa 93-77 on Saturday. And their remaining schedule in the Big Ten is very hard because remember, this is a team that played Minnesota and played Nebraska already. Yeah. So, and they lost both of those games. So their Big Ten schedule this way might keep them out of the tournament.
Would you have them second?
Yeah, well, we won't talk about it. I'm sorry, I trusted Chris Holtman, who I thought could have some.
I cannot believe that your first thing when we got on this was Illinois cannot be 17-3, but. I know you've been waiting for that day.
It was so bad that it's just like, okay, it's embarrassing to even talk about.
You thought it'd be this game. We got it a game early. You're welcome.
And it's going to die even more after this game and the next few losses. Ohio State projected lineup. Bruce Thornton, freshman guard, 6'2", 6 points in the last 3 games. So not doing much on the offensive end, shooting 40% from three, so he'll probably shoot 80% and have 30 points tomorrow night against Illinois. At the 2, in their last game, it was Roddy Gale, 6'4" freshman, but I assume Justice Suing might be back in lineup. I don't know. I feel like I didn't hear anything otherwise. They just took him out to change things up after losing 5 in a row. Didn't start against Iowa, but he played 28 minutes. He had started every game the entire season, and he's like their number. Him more so than Zed Key is like the guy that's back from the last few years, even though he didn't play very much last year because of injury. But I don't know what's going to happen there. They also have Isaac Likely. I called a couple games for him at Oklahoma State. Still don't know how to pronounce his name. 6'5", 18 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists against Iowa. So he was really good in that game. I'm going to move on because I don't know how to pronounce his name. Don't even want to try again. And they have Bryce Sensabaugh, who is pretty much their Malachi Branham of last season, except he might be better. 6'6", plays the 4 or the 3, depending on where Suing is, I think. 27 points on 10 of 12 shooting against Iowa. And he's a lottery pick, probably top 10. So gotta have Coleman lock him down, right, guys?
I mean, I'm okay with him scoring 35.
I am too. You just got to keep Gale and Thornton from scoring 9 or whatever. Then they got Zed Key at the 5, 6'8", 62% from inside the 3-point arc. So they don't really have a true 1 or a true 5, to be honest. I mean, I don't think Bruce Thornton's like a real like normal point guard. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think this is a game where you got to limit Sensabaugh. You wonder how Zed Key's going to play against Dane Dange's defense. This Ohio State team is, I think, more of an anomaly than Illinois is right now.
Probably because they have an absolutely elite offense.
Yeah, just with that huge, losing streak they went on. I am so happy that they beat Iowa because we did not need Ohio State to come in.
Illinois sucks. Doesn't matter.
I just want that Lunker says Kendrick Nunn is my favorite player and Malcolm Hill. Yeah, I thought that Kendrick Nunn should have played more. Maybe he would have stayed. I always said that when he was here. He doesn't remember the old guys because he's too young. He must be.
Kendrick Nunn got traded to the Wizards today. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was Kendrick Nunn and 3 second-round picks to the Wizards for former Gonzaga standout Rui Hachimura, who the Phoenix Suns should have traded for, but that's besides the point. But Kendrick Nunn's still playing and in the NBA. I mean, I thought there was another reason why he left, but I don't remember. So I don't, I think there was. But
there might have been.
I think there was something. But also, he would have been a superstar at Illinois. I think he was really good.
He was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
John Gross was coaching him. So what can you expect, really? All right. Ken Pom, like I said, Ohio State's offense, efficiency, 6th in the country, Illinois 47th. They continue to slip with these metrics. They dropped 10 spots after this game against Indiana. Defensively, though, Illinois, big advantage. They're 30th in efficiency. Ohio State is 85th. Remember, this is all adjusted, folks, so it's not a raw ranking or raw metric rating. So it's all adjusted. Tempo, Illinois 65th, Ohio State 189th, and overall, Illinois 29th, and Ohio State 19th because of their offense. So, there's a 79 spot drop from their offense to their defense. Illinois only 17 from offense to defense. So you just think about it, or it's actually 17-point drop from defense to offense. But I think Ohio State, and in the top 30 more than anybody, might have the only team might be Iowa that has a bigger drop off. Iowa and Missouri, sorry. In terms of offense, Iowa's defense is 141 spot drop from their offense. Missouri's is 173. So they are, and there's also a lot of teams. There's there's not even that many balanced teams in the country this year. And I think that's kind of what it's become. The most balanced teams are probably Houston, Alabama, UCLA, Purdue.
Yeah.
Connecticut, UConn. I don't know why I say Connecticut, but UConn still very balanced with the metrics. Other than that, though, there's nobody. You look at Tennessee, 30 spots between their offense and defense. St. Mary's, Marquette. It's weird what's going on in the hoops world. And like I texted you on Saturday, I think a big factor for some of the top tier programs is that the draft factory programs are not doing as well as they were a few years ago. Like Kentucky and Duke not doing as well, and then the teams with the transfers or the players that have stuck around are doing well, which that would be how I would define Houston. That's how I would define Alabama.
Kind of this 5th-year senior COVID, whatever. It's kind of changed the game. When does that go away? Me and a buddy were talking about that. Does it go away
It
soon?
should have gone away now, but I think they might even extend it another couple decades since Northwestern seemed to not be able to handle themselves.
Yeah. Philip said Zed Key has had a shoulder injury and hasn't been the same since. Lunker says we're just struggling to get into March Madness. Hopefully it gets better. We got to beat Ohio State. Hopefully.
I don't think they're struggling at all. I like it. They'll be struggling. They'll be struggling if they're 4-7 or 4-8 in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
The discrepancy is weird though, because I think Lenardi has them as a 6 still or a 7, and then others have them as like a 9 or a 10. Yeah. It's going to be hard, but like I said, the UCLA and Texas wins matter so much. And I know that you say that those games before conference play don't matter, but those two are going to, from resume perspective, is going to help them a lot.
Right. I think Illinois probably needs to win, 4 of their next 5, because then it gets a little tougher again. So
I've almost gotten to the point where I don't even really look ahead anymore, because
you just want Illinois to get you just want to be 500, right?
Would you have thought that they would start out 0-3 and lose to Penn State and Northwestern preseason? No. So that's why I'm done looking ahead. I've given up on looking ahead.
I don't blame you.
Game by game. That's how we got to take it.
Underwood had his pregame presser. He talked about Luke. He thinks that he'll be back to practice the next 6, 7, 8 days. And then when do you play him? So
I knew that it was an overestimation at the beginning of the season when they said early January.
February.
I said February 4th he'd be back.
Yeah.
Against Iowa.
Looks like that's the way it's going to be. He also said, I think we're in a better place than we were after the Indiana game, having a couple days off. Matthew Meyer is better after being sick. The break was much needed. And then he went on to say, we're right back into game mode, game prep. It's not like we have a day to prepare and work on ourselves. It's right back into Ohio State. So,
yeah. Like I said, looking ahead in this version of college basketball more than any is like, there's no point to it anymore because like Houston losing to Temple, like what, like everyone's talking about Houston's going to go undefeated in the American, and they lose to Temple of all teams. Just makes no sense. And then Purdue could lose any given night. Yesterday was a great indicator of that. Maryland probably would have won that game if they were playing remotely close to how they played early in the season.
Yeah. I mean, basically you want to try to go 6-6 over.
Take a game by game, game by game. We want to take a game by game. Okay. I mean,
we want to win them all. 16-4 is my new prediction.
Good. That's good. I hope so. The thing with Zed Key is like, he's a smaller big, but he's also like bigger. He's a thicker 6'8" than normal. So I think that's going to help Dane in the fact that he's not going to be moving like TJJ does.
Yeah. We might as well go into players to watch since he is one of my players to watch.
I teed you up perfectly there, really.
Thank you. I'm going to go with Jaden Epps for Illinois. Need him to bounce back after the 1-for-8 shooting performance. He was so good the game before. And so you just hope they can get back. Illinois starts making those bunnies. And then I went with Zed Key because I want to see his matchup with Dane Danger. Again, I think Dane will be able to handle him a lot better than he did TJJ. And people are going to be like, who are these idiots?
Yeah, well, you know how it is. Any thoughts on the fact that Illinois or that the Big Ten has one team in the top 25 and it's the number one team?
Lunkers likes your shirt. What'd you say?
Oh, very nice. Illinois, or why do I keep saying Illinois? The Big Ten has one team in the top 25.
Yeah.
And it's the number one team. And they probably should be
number 2. Did Purdue get the number 1? That's stupid.
Well, they're 19-1.
They literally won because Courtney, whatever his name is, can't see a ball bounce on the sideline.
That's great.
Like he literally pointed to it 6 times.
They got the number 1 spot by 16 votes.
Courtney Green.
39-23 were the
That's
votes.
dumb. Alabama's the best team in the country.
Well, the poll sucks. Like, the poll is so stupid. They need to get rid of the poll because why is UConn still in there? If it matters what you've done lately, then why are they in there? But on the other flip side, UConn's behind Charleston. UConn on a neutral court would kill Charleston.
You also shared a thing that polls don't matter. So why are we even talking about it?
I did, but it doesn't matter, but it's also something you need to address when it's so stupid. Sure. Illinois had 9 votes, by the way. Indiana was second behind Duke with 61 for teams that just missed out. So they want to put Indiana back in all of a sudden, which whatever, who cares? I mean, they always have these preseason notions about, I'm going to come back to this team in February if they start to play well because I had them here in the pre. It's just it's not, the voters are all morons. So yeah, RJ Melendez is my player to watch on the Illini side. I think maybe Brad gives him a few more minutes after the way he played. Maybe probably not. Yeah. Probably say, well, Coleman's can't take Coleman out for a couple minutes because he's got to get to 38. And RJ, if you get above 25, I'm gonna have to kick you off the team. So. And then I put Justice Suing because I think he's going to be a bit of a matchup nightmare for whoever has to guard him, especially if it's that bum Coleman Hawkins. So I kind of wonder, who do you stick on? Sensabaugh is a big question here. I would love to see Ty Rodgers guard him as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, you think Terrence Shannon Jr. has to guard him, right?
Yeah, but you also worry like Meyer can't do that, and you're gonna have Meyer guarding 6'5" likely. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know. I think it's going to be tough, and that's why I think they're going to lose. So let's get the predictions.
Yeah, Ethan says, screw your depression. Illinois loses this game. I got Illinois winning by 10, though. I think they're bouncing back. 5 days off. Oh, Brad doesn't say that they're
going to miss 23s to start the game.
They're not going to shoot 23s, and that's why they're going to win. Illinois 79, Ohio State 69. See you later, Buckeyes.
Let's just think about some historical perspectives here, folks. Last 2 years.
History doesn't matter.
Last 2 years, Illinois has lost at home to Ohio State. January 16th, 2021, Illinois lost, gave up 87 points at home to Ohio State and lost. Last season.
Did they lose?
Yeah.
Okay.
They did lose. Yeah. I wanted to hammer the point home. 86-83 last season. They gave up a lot of points. Now, remember
Brady says we live in the present.
No, we don't. Remember last season, Illinois gave up 50 points in the second half to Ohio State. 50 points, despite Illinois scoring 46 themselves. And they lost 86-83. Almost had that miraculous comeback last season against them. But it was the Branham-Liddell show. So thank God those guys are gone because Branham had 31, Liddell had 21, and Kyle Young, of all players, last season had 18. So anybody that did anything in that game for them last season is gone except Zed Key. He had 3 points, 2 rebounds. So that's where the history doesn't matter, but don't care. I've seen the movie enough, folks. Okay, 77-73. Orange Crush sucks. Losers, bums. We'll be louder than them. Probably.
Yeah, we will. Yeah. So watch party tomorrow. Did you want to talk about the Big Ten or are we good? I think we're good.
I think we've all seen enough, huh?
Yeah. We reached our hour, 45 minutes on an Indiana game that happened 6 days ago, but whatever.
Certainly hasn't been 6 days, but that's all right.
I'm just trying to give Illinois more time off. I said 5 first, now I'm saying 6.
12-hour days.
I feel like they need more time off. So, but yeah, watch party tomorrow. 5:45 ish, probably be like 5:55. If I'm guessing.
Prediction: RJ Melendez in the starting lineup.
No. Crypto says pretty low grade hopium you got there, Ethan. So
just calling how I see
just being a realist.
You could say you're happy Ohio State won that last game, but they're still sitting there being like, we're 3-5. I mean, when we lost to Minnesota and Nebraska.
You don't think Illinois is in the same boat?
No, Illinois is like, we won 4 in a row. We can lose 4 in a row now, and it won't matter because our coach told us that it doesn't matter. It's the Big Ten. It just happens. Illinois is going to win they're so much better on the road for some reason in my view. Like, what the hell's up with that? How many stupid losses they have to have at home? You know why? Because they're probably like, That goddamn student section's not, ruining this for us. Because when you're at Nebraska, you don't have to deal with the Orange Crush who suck. So
Yeah.
I'll blame the Orange Crush for the road games as well. In a good
All
way,
right.
though. So congrats.
Well, Ethan hates the Orange Crush. I guess that's what we learned today.
Yeah, and I'd like to see some improvement. And I'd also like to hear if they want to defend themselves, then go ahead. I'd love to hear it because you suck.
Come on in. All right.
That'll do for us. We'll be back for the watch party tomorrow night. And another podcast. When do they play after this?
Saturday.
So probably Thursday or Friday or whatever. For
about 14 days off between now and Saturday.
Yeah, that'll be good. Get some time off.
Yep.
All right. We will see everybody tomorrow night. Goodbye.
Later.